All right, today we're going to be doing a deep dive on Polkadot. I think you guys might be interested in this one. It's going to be a full rundown. You don't want to miss it. There are some big news items that if you're into crypto, this is one that you need to pay attention to. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into TechPath. I do want to say right here at the top is Polkadot is sponsoring this video, but also we had a massive run of comments of people on our channel asking for more information. So you can, of course, just visit Polkadot Network and get a little bit more information on. But what we're going to do today is run down some of the things that are happening within the ecosystem. And what we have found today, I think, might surprise many of you that have been looking at Polkadot. First up, I want to hit on number of transactions. This just happened just yesterday. And of course, most of it is coming over from Mythos. And you've heard us talk about Mythos before here on the channel. If you look at Crypto Slam right now, I just want to kind of zoom in on this right here. This is D-Market right there, which is Mythos, the #1 NFT collection. And there's a lot of reasons why. Well, Counter-Strike is a good example of how all of this is playing into it on Mythos, to where this has a potential to really start to see big expansion on NFT usage in Web 2, especially as we start to see these Web 3 conversion elements. I want to go to a clip real quick that will get into a little bit more about how all this comes together, because there's a lot of ecosystems out there in the gaming category. Take a look at this one.
So Immutable is another very successful gaming project. They have launched 300 games. In fact, this year alone, they've launched 1 game per day. It's not even in the realm of possible in most kind of traditional gaming. Mythical, kind of one notable game. Mythical is still 2.2 times larger in NFT revenues. And that's also notable because the NFL season is over. The next NFL season doesn't even start until September 5th, even the wash trade. So, Mythical doesn't engage in that activity to try to, kind of drive volume. 5 million players have come into this game in the first year. To put that in perspective, in the first year of Madden, it garnered 25 million installs. In the first year of Mythical, it garnered 5 million. This is theoretically the most successful app we've seen in crypto to date. That engine and what they've built for NFL Rivals can be ported because they own Rivals. So think other leagues. Stay tuned on that point, because I think there's going to be more exciting news coming.
Not also forget Pudgy Penguins, which they have already announced for next year.
There's some key times that play into this in terms of how this could flow out. I want to go to another clip real quick, because they also angle against some of the bigger blockchains. So take a look at this one.
And we looked at everyone. Everyone told us, okay, yeah, the gaming chain is Polygon. Got to go with Polygon. And then a month later, it's like, oh, the gaming chain is Avalanche. And now it's Solana, right? So you get all these things, and I think they're more hype than substance most of the time. One is we need stability. So something like Solana is kind of a non-starter. If the chain goes down, it doesn't work for days at a time, our apps get pulled from the App Store, right? Sales don't go through, they get rejected, that doesn't work. And we also need to see a roadmap that lets us feel confident in the future. And Polkadot checked that off as well. We want something with that's actually decentralized. You'd be hard pressed to find a better chain than Polkadot for those two things, for sure.
We did this video 2 months ago, and this was the biggest gaming reveal ever. And it was talking about Mythos and really kind of their portal concept. Go back and watch this video, because it'll help you guys get an idea. But it's the one that was based on Redditverse. You'll see it in there. Of what is happening in the gaming ecosystem. And again, this gets back into some pretty big announcements that are happening. Stablecoins also moving, only one, on Polkadot. So you've got that component that you still need, because stablecoins, of course, have to be resident in any kind of these exchanges, obviously in the sense of being able to just handle liquidity going out there. Other things that kind of changed quite a bit since really I think a lot of people have looked at Polkadot. And if you look back at their history, back in the 2021, when Polkadot was really one of the go-to chains out there, I think many of you guys will remember many of the shows and topics that we talked about at that time. But I think the lazy Polkadot's UX is terrible, can be taken and now officially buried. And there's a reason why all this is happening. But this was the function in which you'd be able to engage on Polkadot. And this was a problem. And I think these many chains were like this in 2021. So I don't want to say one bad thing about one chain or another, but everybody was still trying to build on this. That has started to move pretty significantly in the right direction. So one of the things you can look at here is Nova Wallet, which is the leading mobile wallet for Polkadot. And look at the UI, big difference here now. So, and I think that is the thing. And also the theme that we're seeing now in 2024 is that many of these chains have come of age. I want to go to a clip real quick that will get into a little bit more detail on how this UI exploded Polkadot. Take a look.
Staking really is the main product in the Polkadot ecosystem currently, and you can tell that because there's 58.5% of all DOT is staked, right, by 60,000 users. So this is why we focus very heavily on providing the best possible staking experience for everybody. We recently released the one-click onboarding, so you can onboard to Nova Wallet with your Apple ID or Google account and set a proxy account as your hot wallet so you can manage your validators and change your rewards destination and things like that. And all these other things you can see on the screen that we spoke about before. How has it actually affected the staking landscape, right? So this graph is the new cumulative DOT staked with wallets and LSDs in the ecosystem since the 1st of September 2023. And you can see in terms of the new DOT being staked, Nova Wallet is in the lead with just over 10 million DOT being staked. However, some people had a bit of a head start over us, so we're also going to look at the total DOT staked since September. And, well, you can see that Nova is now in the lead in terms of total DOT staked compared to LSDs. That is over 300 million total value staked via Nova. Over 15,000 people staking using Nova Wallet. And if you remember what I said earlier, there's 60,000 people staking overall. So 25% of everybody staking DOT is using Nova Wallet, which is absolutely amazing.
Big moves there again on UI starts to accelerate what's happening in those ecosystems, especially around staking. Polkadot, I think you guys have probably seen the kind of yields that are out there. I want to go to this next clip because this is the next phase in where some of this could really take place, and that is in Web3. Let's go to this clip.
So how can I use it in a store? How can I convert? How can I, what's next? And we decided to solve this issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present you a brand new product in the Polkadot ecosystem. It is a debit cards on the Polkadot, which we're about to release this September. For the region coverage, we start with Europe and UK, and in the next year, this is going to be expanded to the LATAM and US. But what really excites me is how we can go further. We are working heavily right now on the self-custodial cards, which will be a next iteration on it, right? That unlocks you unlimited possibilities on the Polkadot. The really low-hanging fruit for imagining this is basically a staking. You can today set any account in the Nova Wallet to be an account that receives your staking rewards daily, right? So you can imagine that account can be used to receive your staking rewards. And as soon as you have it, you will see the push notification in Nova Wallet, and that immediately, without any mental barrier, basically provide you opportunity to spend it, right, anywhere in the world. We are designing the self-custodial solution, which we are aiming to release next year.
This could be huge for traditional finance, what we'll see in DeFi, but also I think in a lot of these neobanks that have really kind of been building a lot of their customer base. Could this change kind of the habits of both retailers and consumers alike? And if this is all happening, and it appears to be in September, pretty big moves. Now they go for a little bit further into this in terms of how Polkadot could help retailers. So I want to play another clip for you. Take a look.
You may wonder, pay where? In more than 1 million stores and websites across the US. And later this year, we are looking to launch international support, but that's not all of it. On every purchase, you will be able to get up to 20% cashback in DOT, funded by the brands you shop at. This app, we are looking at launching this app in Q3 this year.
I think what a lot of folks don't realize is Starbucks is actually a bank that sells coffee. 55% of all of Starbucks' transactions are on a Starbucks card, which is a gift card. And so we're seeing this as an industry trend, which is retailers are leveraging gift cards as a means to drive loyalty. We're tied in directly into their point-of-sale systems where we can issue cards on demand to any retailer.
It is quite eye-opening if you just realize the size of it and the growth rates over the last, whatever, 10 years, right?
It's at $1 trillion this year, right? And we're going to get to about $2.5 trillion in the next 5 or 6 years globally.
All right, so I don't know that you guys understand how big what his statement is for the retail side of things, because this is one of the biggest challenges, I think, for retailers is the idea, really two big challenges. One, of course, is the fees on transactions for credit card activities. The other is being able to engage loyalty and true loyalty of how users can use it. So the fact that they're making these kind of inroads in retailers globally with redemption back into DOT in terms of advantages for the potential of creating a better, more loyal audience. And remember, this is the biggest thing I think in Web3. I still think this is the killer app, and that meaning that loyalty will be the killer app of Web3 for all retail. And if they're doing it the right way on blockchain, maybe Polkadot has an opportunity here to seize the moment and really get in on these early building block days of where these retailers are going. So huge news right there coming in. The other thing that's happening in first of all, you guys notice there's a lot of things happening in September, okay? So you got September coming up, possibly some macro pressures that could start to relieve things, but also some things are happening within the EU in September as well. Take a look at this clip.
96% of all cars are connected. All the data goes to the cloud. You don't own that data. Arrow codes of the car, your preferred radio station, whatever, but they also collect all your personal phone calls. They collect where you stopped and even your sexual activity. Now, I was not the only one concerned about, let's say, monitoring sexual activities by car companies. This tweet, seems a famous guy, got almost 700,000 views. The thing is, shouldn't we democratize vehicle data and distribute that 750 billion? Thank you. We're all gonna own it. We're gonna own the data. People thought that I was loco in the brain. That will never work. Well, they are forced to, thanks to the EU Data Act, which has been signed in November last year. And the Data Act literally says the driver is the owner of the data. We've built this on Peak and Polkadot. And how it works is, so they go to a kind of, we call it marketplace, and they ask you, hey, Mr. Driver, can you share your data? If you share me your mileage, for instance, I'm going to give you 5 tokens in return. So you get paid now for sharing your own data. You can use all the tokens that you've got over here and pay for a portion for the insurance contract or replacement of tires, whatever. On the right side, you see it. Europe is already part of our shareholder. Today, we are the only one focusing on the EU Data Act, and that makes a really, really big difference. The app will be released in September.
We may see some of that even here in the United States, especially as personal privacy becomes a major issue, which I think is why we're seeing a lot more of the big 3 starting to look at ways to democratize data. But if blockchain is the beginning for this, and especially if our lawmakers start to really understand what this means, this could be a revolution in how consumers could now utilize data as a way and means to make money on it, on your own personal data. And if blockchain is the answer, this will change everything, I think, in the future of tech. All right, listen, if you guys are not in the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in. It's a great place to get additional content. We cover projects like this a little bit deeper. We'll do a lot more research on understanding what's happening within these ecosystems. And we do it, from time to time. If you have some ideas, drop some comments down below. We always love to look at different projects out there. Of course, if you're not following me on X, do that. It's Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.